Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know It, the News You Trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Dale Menyo. Powered by Soy Biodiesel this week. Tomorrow we'll be in London talking with Farm Credit Mid-America about farm diversification. On Wednesday, we'll be at the Ohio State Fair, broadcasting from the Market Lamb Show, courtesy of Kalmbach Feeds. And on Thursday, we'll return to the Ohio State Fair to the butter sculpture display at the Dairy Products Building, and that's all thanks to American Dairy Association Mideast. They will unveil the butter sculpture tomorrow at the Ohio State Fair. We started our pre-state fair coverage, if you will, with some of the shows that are happening prior to Wednesday's start of the state fair. On Friday was the Junior Market Weather Goat Show, and the grand champion was shown by Maya McCoy of Fayette County. The reserve champion went to Braxton Method of Allglaze County, and you'll see them in the Sale of Champions. You can also check out their interviews shortly after they were announced. It's online at ohioagnet.com. On Friday, we saw the cattle and calves on feed report coming out. Those were feedlots of 1,000 head or more in the U.S., totaled 11.3 million head on July 1. That inventory was 1% above July 1 of a year ago, according to USDA's NASS report. Now, the inventory included 6.82 million steers and steer calves, up 1% from the previous year. The group also accounted for 60% of the total inventory. Heifers and heifer calves accounted for 4.48 million head, up slightly from a year ago. Placements into feedlots during June totaled 1.56 million head, 7% below that of a year ago. Net placements were 1.51 million head. Marketing of fed cattle during June totaled 1.79 million head, 9% below a year ago, and marketings were the second lowest for a June time period since the series began back in 1996. DTN's analysis shows feeder cattle on feed report came out mostly identical to what the analyst pre-report projections were, other than in the placement category, which came in 3.4% less than originally expected, according to DTN livestock analyst Shaylee Stewart. Now, there are two likely ways in which the market could react to the report today. On the one hand, traders could find the report to be neutral, given that the pre-report estimates were nearly perfect, and given that the market had traded cautiously throughout the week in preparation for the report, which was expected to showcase higher on-feed totals and weaker marketings like it did. But reason and logic don't always win, and there's still a chance that the report could be found to be somewhat bearish, given that the on-feed totals have been confirmed to be higher than a year ago, and that marketings have softened compared to a year ago. Regardless of how the traders react today, there wasn't anything outlandish in the report that should cause traders to react to the document for more than a day or two at the longest. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Warmer and more humid air tries to take over the region here this week. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at that Ohio Ag weather update. We are mostly dry here for today, but definitely seeing more humidity creep in, and that's going to lead to additional instability, I believe, in the days ahead. So today, I won't rule out a few hit-and-miss scattered showers or thunderstorms, mostly over south central, southwestern parts of the state, but I really think we have a better chance of activity tomorrow, Wednesday, and early Thursday. Best thing to probably do is lump all 3 days together. Let's say today through very, very early Thursday morning. I think we can pick up anywhere from a quarter to 1 inch of rain, coverage around 90% of the state. We are definitely going to be seeing slightly better chances central and southern Ohio, but everywhere can see moisture over the next 3 days. We're very, very humid. Thursday afternoon, we start to see cooler, drier air sag south out of the Great Lakes again. We're very pleasant to finish the week on Friday, and even Saturday turns out okay. Next Sunday, the 28th, we start to see southwest flow return. We warm back up, and we're going to be rather humid through next week as well. I think we stay rain-free until we get to Wednesday. That would be the 31st. That's where we see a good round of shower and thunderstorm activity trying to come in from the west with a frontal boundary. Coverage will be about 70%, but that means we're not going to be fully dry over the next 10 days, but I don't think we're quite as wet as we've seen parts of the state be, at least, over the past 2 2 to 3 weeks. Nice coverage of rains here, but not too much. Should be good for growing and developing crops. Temperatures, though, a little bit on the warm side, especially next week. Quite a bit above normal at times. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Well, the U.S. made a strong case in the dispute with Mexico over genetically engineered corn under the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. A top official at the Biden administration told farmers during remarks at the National Corn Growers Association's Corn Congress meeting in Washington, D.C. This is something we will not rest until we get done, said Ambassador Doug McCaleb, who serves as the chief agriculture negotiator in the office of the U.S. Trade Representative. I know this is a critical important, not just for corn growers, but frankly, farmers of all kinds. They say we can't allow trade partners to play loose with the science. If they can do it with corn, then they can do it with anything. Caleb said U.S. and Mexican officials were given questions in writing by the panel considering the matter, and both have responded. He said a decision is expected this fall. McCaleb said USTR is working on addressing unfair trade practices with Brazil, and it has addressed burdensome tariffs from governments in South Asia. We have continued to be frustrated by the 18% tariffs that Brazil has placed on ethanol, McCaleb noted. We still do not have one U.S. biofuel company that is qualified for the Brazilian program. McCaleb said USTR values trade with China, but it also focused on diversifying its Asian trade portfolio. He said the U.S. is looking at cultivating markets in Vietnam, Thailand, and Malaysia, among other countries. Corn growers have worked closely with the Ambassador McCaleb at USTR after Mexico announced its intent to block imports of genetically engineered corn. NCGA and corn grower leaders sounded the alarm. USTR worked with corn growers as it filed a dispute settlement case on the issue under the USMCA. Back with more after this.
Hey, Ohio! The Ohio State Fair is coming soon.
July 24th through August 4th.
Don't miss fair favorites like the Butter Cow,
Livestock animals,
endless shopping,
delicious fair food,
free live music,
thrilling rides and games,
competitions, and so much more.
Experience the Ohio State Fair July 24th through August 4th.
Get tickets in advance at ohiostatefair.com.
Hey Ohio, exciting news coming to you from Ohio's Country Journal. Subscribe or renew your free subscription by September 20th of 2024 and you could win one of 4 50-inch televisions. Ohio's Country Journal is free, but subscribers have to renew their subscriptions every 3 years to continue to receive it. Subscribe or renew to stay updated on all things Ohio, from agricultural insights to rural lifestyle. Don't miss out. Visit our website today at ocj.com/renew.
An analysis by Scott Irwin, an agriculture economist at the University of Illinois, got some notice a couple weeks ago when he highlighted projected income returns for highly productive farmland in central Illinois, the kind of area that averages 230 bushel corn and 75 bushels of beans. Policymakers are talking as though another extension of the 2018 Farm Bill is inevitable. Meanwhile, there is a growing risk of a steeper downturn in farm income, while a lot of potential improvements to the farm safety net would have to wait until at least 2026 to provide some relief. Now, using prices that are higher than today, $4.50 for corn instead of $4.05 and $11.30 for beans instead of $10.40, Irwin penciled out average losses of $110 an acre for corn and $57 an acre for soybeans. His number, he noted, were at a point where 85% of crop insurance policies would trigger payments based on price alone. Regardless of the fine details of crop insurance payments and government payments, alarm bells should be going off about the scale of potential corn and soybean losses for the 2024 crop in the Corn Belt. The range of losses can change, and of course, prices could rebound, Irwin noted. Since that post, Irwin also referenced this week that October cash bids are significantly lower for corn and soybeans. Now, analysts at DTN have pointed out the National Corn Index right now is at $3.90 a bushel, and the while farmers are dealing with roughly 30% higher production costs than before the COVID-19 pandemic, a $4 bushel of corn is roughly the same value as a $3 bushel used to be. Chuck Abbott at the Food and Environmental Reporting Network on Thursday also highlighted some points raised by bankers in the Federal Reserve's Beige Book, which summarizes economic conditions around the country. The regional Fed Bank in Chicago and Minneapolis noted the outlook for farm income has weakened. The Kansas City Fed, Abbott wrote, stated agriculture conditions faced headwinds for weak crop prices. Bayer Crop Protection Technology Development Rep Rod Stevenson is joining me on behalf of Channel Seed to share the latest research efforts by Bayer Crop Science to combat plant diseases like tar spot. What's the latest, Rod?
Bayer's research teams are working to better meet the agronomic needs of our customers. We are proud that our R&D pipeline investments leads the seed and crop protection industry by a 2-to-1 margin. The focus is breeding new products with enhanced genetic tolerance and developing innovative new crop protection products.
What progress are researchers making?
Our breeders are identifying new genetic combinations with tolerance to tar spot and other diseases by using precision breeding strategies. We expect the capabilities to reduce one breeding cycle from 6 years to 4 months. In recent advancements, we recreated tar spot in test lots to help develop our new corn products with improved tolerance.
Thanks, Rod. To learn more, visit channel.com. Always read and follow IRM where applicable, grain marketing, and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
It's time to cut costs. Your Meristem dealer has the keys. Unlock the NPK you already own with new improved Excavator AMS powered by microbialized technology. Excavator AMS is the first and only all-in-one nutrient release and residue breakdown product with built-in nitrogen, surfactants, and water conditioner. Take cost out of your fertilizer and adjuvant spend now. Unlock nutrition faster with Excavator AMS. Learn more and find a dealer at meristemag.com. Always more bushels for less.
Time now for the Louis Dreyfus Grain Analysis, brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished lower on corn and soybeans and a little bit higher on wheat on Friday. Here we go. We get started for another week, and what are we looking at? Overall on Friday, the wheat rallied strongly early on because of concern about the French milling wheat and German wheat quality. However, we gave up nearly half of those gains as we headed into the close. That tells you there's not a lot of strength or belief in strength in this market going forward. The midday action turned significantly slower for especially the row crops through the afternoon. Brokers estimate that funds bought about 6,500 contracts of wheat and 900 to 1,000 of corn and 1,200 contracts of soybeans. USDA did report a 105 metric ton soybean sale to unknown destinations. It was for the 23-24 crop year. Second soy meal sale in recent days. Cash connected rumors that China is securing U.S. Gulf soybeans for October and November now that U.S. soybeans are priced below Brazil through the end of the year. What do we say sometimes? Cure for low prices is low prices. Apparently, if the rumors about China from this past week are true, that would ring true again here this week. Other stories in the marketplace last week, there was a new crop sale of soybeans reported, a flash sale at midweek that got everybody talking, waiting to see whether that gets duplicated at any point in time soon. But most of the stories last week were on wheat. From what I saw over the weekend, not much has changed in weather, and the crop is being harvested over there anyway. So I think that we're almost past any attempt to make this market continue to work lower on concerns about wheat. It's going to be about the crop quality going into the bin and tenders for new demand, especially out of the Middle East. That's your market update. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Overnight to start the week, September corn up 4 3/4 at $3.95 1/4 cents. December's up 5 1/4 at $4.10. The August soybeans, if you still have some, up 11 at $11.08 1/4 cents. November new crops up 16 3/4, but at $10.52 and 3/4 cents. September wheat up 5 1/4 at $5.48. If you're planning on planting for July 25 new crop, it's up 4 1/2 at $6.07 and 3/4. In livestock, August cattle up 85 cents at $183.10. August lean hogs 91.57, up 20 cents. September feeder cattle at $255.77, down $1.22. This is the Ohio AgNet.